Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our next installment of recipe tryouts. Today's recipe is one that I found online somewhere. I don't remember where, but here's doing something weird there. But it is really amazingly delicious. My family absolutely loves it, and they get so excited whenever I make this. But it's really simple and it's really easy. It takes less than an hour to make, and it's relatively healthier than some of the other stuff that we've made before. So this is a pretty good healthy weeknight family meal. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Okay guys, so for today's recipe, what you'll need is 1 pound of ground hamburger, about 2 to 3 sweet potatoes, depending on what size you get, half an onion, some sage, some ground cumin, your peeler, obviously, a good sharp knife, and a nice round bottom pan, as well as some mozzarella for the dish. And as always, salt and pepper just for a little extra seasoning. Okay, y'all, as always, first steps first, you have your washed sweet potatoes here, and you're just gonna peel them out. So just peel that skin off, and don't worry about going too deep with it or anything, because we're going to be cutting these up in any pieces that you don't like or that are ugly for some reason, like there's an eye there. You don't have to dig it out with this little guy, which is what it's there for. You can just peel it off. As you notice, I don't have one of those fancy Swiss peel, one of those fancy, I started to say French and fancy and it didn't come out. One of those fancy little Swiss peelers that you just, I don't have one of those. So any peeler will do. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, we had a regular peeler like this and it broke and we didn't have the money to get a new one, so we just used a paring knife. But them's the breaks, huh guys? Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. So I'll just continue peeling. And don't worry, this part we're gonna cut off because it's kind of wonky and icky and gross. So you just peel it down until you get a nice, good potato piece out. Now, a lot of people wash their potatoes before they peel them. I like to wash after, just so that we're able to get all of the pieces of leftover skin or anything that happen to be on it. So that's why I do that. And also, it does get some of the carby like feeling off of the potatoes, because whenever you have potatoes that you're heating up, they release a lot of carby like juices, for lack of a better term, and that's generally what makes vodka. But yeah, things you didn't know. I just recently learned that that was the main part in vodka, is the potato juice rather than the potato itself, because I just drink the stuff. I didn't think about where it came from. So now that we have our 3 potatoes washed and peeled, we are going to clean this little mess up and then come back with our washed potatoes. Okay guys, so we have our washed and peeled potatoes ready to go and cut. So let's get cutting. So for this particular dish, just gonna cut that off, cut this end off. Okay. So what we're gonna have is we're gonna try to get as close to uniform size pieces as possible. I know sometimes it's hard with like odd shaped potatoes like this one, but like for instance, this one we're just gonna cut in half, but we want them about that size because it won't take as long to cook with the turkey and onion. just gonna cut it in quarters, each little slice. Now, I really like sweet potatoes. They're amazing. They're so tasty. They're so delicious. They have beta carotene like carrots, which gives it the orange color if you didn't know. If you didn't know. If you did, awesome. But I just really like them. They're so tasty. To me, it's hard to mess up a sweet potato. So we're just gonna continue cutting these, and then we're going to start on our onion. Okay, y'all, so now that we have our potatoes all cut up, I know this is kind of a big bowl for them, but I wasn't sure how much it would make. So we're gonna start on our onion now, and just take your half an onion. Always cut off this little part, just makes it easier. Just put that in with your trash pile. Take this peelings off here. Okay, so now we can get the full extent of this peel off. Come on. Aha. Bam. All right. So, if you're wondering, that is Elle Woods in the background. Yeah. So, let's get our preferred method of tear prevention to cut our onion. As y'all know, mine is the wet paper towel right by the cutting board. No, I just kind of haphazardly chop stuff because continuity is not my biggest worry whenever I'm cutting onions or anything else. It's mainly just, hey, is this gonna cook good enough to be food, right? That's what we're really worried about. So if it's gonna be good enough to eat. Handy helper husband suggested the other day, hey, maybe you should try out for MasterChef. I'm like, oh no, oh no. He says, why not? I say, cause I don't cut for shit. He's like, you can learn that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. We're good. I don't need to go on TV. Here I am on YouTube, which is funny, but oh well. So, why is this doing that? Damn it. Cooperate. chopped an onion without having to cry. Okay, so now that we have our onion and sweet potatoes chopped, we can move on to our pan and cooking this wonderful food. Okay, y'all, so what we have getting started here is we're going to grab a little olive oil and we're going to turn the heat to medium under our pan. Now this is that round flat bottom pan that I always use for stuff because it's awesome. I just drizzle a little bit in there. Get that oil nice and hot and then add our onion. So like I said, this is a really quick meal once you get everything chopped. Usually I like to chop stuff about an hour before I start cooking just so that I know I have enough and if I need to get more, I have it. But it's just me. So already start to feel a little bit of heat and you can see it pulling from the edges. So let's just go ahead and add our onion. Okay, set that aside. Open our meat just so we have it ready. Get a spoon or a spatula, whichever you want. Just kind of saute this around. Just that we get that good onion flavor in there. That way we don't have to use onion powder because it's kind of annoying to try to get the equivalent of half an onion in onion powder if you don't know a whole lot about how it works. Like me, I'm just kind of winging it. So, yeah. So we're just gonna do this. And while that's cooking, we're gonna get a little bit of our salt. And just a bit. And then add just a bit of pepper as well. Bit. Stir it around. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I really love the smell of cooking onions because it still kind of sweet and savory and flavorful all at the same time, and it's just wonderful. So I'm just gonna let those cook a minute, and then we will add our meat to this. So for this, you're gonna cook these onions in this olive oil until they're translucent-ish. So not quite all the way translucent, but close. So we're just gonna keep on going and making sure that we're stirring it around because you don't wanna burn them. You don't want them to sit for too long in one spot. Then they will burn and it will throw off your flavor. Okay. Pretty tender. We're just waiting for that translucency to come through. Okay. So, this is about how you want it to look whenever you add your ground turkey. So what we're gonna do, what I like to do, is just grab a little bit with this piece that I'm gonna be using to cook it. And just kind of throw it in there. That aside and just chop this up. we're gonna do is get that turkey nice and brown. Well, brown as we can anyway. It's turkey after all. It's a white meat of sorts. Well, this one is. I'm sure you can get dark meat ground turkey if you make it yourself, which I might do that. I did just get, so my mother and I are like cooking besties. You know, we like to trade recipes with each other and share tips and stuff and utensils and everything else. So she has a KitchenAid mixer and so do I. So she has these attachments for hers that I'm not sure how old they are. The box is, it looks quite old. Maybe like from the early 2000s. I don't know. Could have been bought last week and just the box is just weird looking. I don't know. But anyway, one is a like fruit slicer spiralizer kind of thing. Not fruit, vegetables. Well, I guess fruit too if you count pumpkins as a vegetable and stuff. But yeah. It's like a spiralizer, slicer, mandolin kind of thing. And a meat grinder attachment. So I might go ahead and attempt to grind my own meat one day, and I will definitely film it for y'all because it might be super cool or it might suck. So we'll see. But here we go. So maybe we'll do that one day. So guys, what we're gonna do at this point when the meat is not quite browned all the way but almost there, just add a little bit of salt, a little bit more pepper, and just stir that around. Make sure it gets all nice and mixed. And just continue cooking until the meat is done and kind of and not looking like it's raw anymore. Okay guys, so our meat is cooked thoroughly. Let's just call it that instead of browning, because it takes a while to brown turkey as you would ground beef or anything. So next, let's add some of the spices. So I'm getting my ground cumin. This bottle is very old, so please don't, you know, like, think it's just gross. Just kind of sprinkle it in there. And yes, some came out this side because it doesn't close very well. And then get our sage and sprinkle that in there. Hold on. Is this not open or what? So here we go. Okay. Sage. I'm gonna stir that around. Ooh, smells good. So it's kind of smelling like white people tacos, not like real tacos, like a Hispanic person would make, because I'm white and that's what we do, right? Right. Besides colonizing and appropriating and everything else, we take everything that was somebody else's and say it was ours. Just as a whole, like in general. Not everybody does. Not everybody will. So now that we have our spices in here, we're gonna add our sweet potatoes. Okay. And now we're just gonna stir this around a bit. Guys, if I get questions of how much of the seasoning do you add? Girl, just measure with your heart. So the ancestors say that's enough. Stop, you're gonna ruin it. So yeah, So what I like to do is get a little bit of water. Just like a glass of water. It can be out of the tap. It doesn't have to be fresh water. Unless you have really bad water. Which, if you do, I'm sorry. So what I'd like to do is just kind of add a little bit before we cover to get the steam effect for cooking the potatoes. So then we just cover and we let it cook for a little bit, like about 10 minutes, checking it periodically to make sure that the potatoes aren't turning into mush, because you want them tender but not mushy. Like, we don't want to be able to mash them, we just want to be able to bite them, because sweet potatoes are incredibly hard. So that's what we're gonna do, and then we will get the final ingredients in. Okay guys, so it's been about 5 minutes ish. So let's just go ahead and uncover this and stir it around a bit. Now it's looking like, ooh, smell like heaven. Now it's looking like the potatoes are almost there. So we'll just give it another couple minutes. We don't want to add any more water or anything to it. And then we will add our final touch. Just a couple more minutes. Okay guys, so I believe this is done. Let's open up and take a look. You can hear that sizzle. Oh yeah. See how it's gotten a little brown on bottom with the stuff that was on the very bottom? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this, get some mozzarella. And what we're gonna do is turn the heat off. And just sprinkle this stuff all over. Remember guys, as little or as much as you like. Bit here, bit there. Okay, I'm going to cover it until the cheese is melted. It'll take about 5 minutes or so. And then when the cheese is melted, we can move on. Okay guys, our supper is complete. This is our turkey and sweet potatoes with onion, cumin, and sage, a little bit of salt and pepper topped with mozzarella. So, what we're gonna do is get our bowl and get us some of this. Look at that stretch. Look at that cheese. Y'all.
Put some on my plate.
It's a little messy. That's okay. Messy's all right. So we're just gonna, it all goes the same place anyway, right? So, there we have our bowl of food. And it is wonderful. Okay guys, here we have it. Our sweet potato, turkey, sage, cumin, mozzarella, onion, all that good stuff in the video, all put together in one delicious combination. It's very hot. Oh, so good. So, enjoy. Thanks for watching. Let's eat.